Hey folks. So last episode we started setting up the overall reaction process for our AI. We got through to passing some information into the blackboard and just opening that up. We have we've got that set as a blackboard key here, and in the behavior tree, oh, let me open that up. In the behavior tree, we set up our basic process here to determine what its response was going to be. Now, what we want to do actually is we want to just test to see which one of these it's going to fall through to. Right now, because we're both human NPCs, it's going to return into the idle and ignore. So we're going to open up our blueprint. We are going to find our NPC here. And we want to change the NPC's type to one of the ones that's going to flee when it sees a human. So take a look at our code, get our fear response. 0, it's going to attack. So we know if we set it to a monster, small animal. So if we set it to a monster, it should attack us. If we set it to a small animal, it should run away. So with that, let's see if I can spell creature right. We are going to set it to a small herbivore. We're going to compile and save. I'm going to pull up our blueprint tree here and let's see if I can get this where it's visible and we can run in editor, because it's really hard to do this when you only have one screen worth of. Why are you not letting me move? There we go. Okay, so it's going to be pretty hard to see. Let's move these around. But hopefully that gives us what we're looking for here. So you can see here, it's actually, this has failed. Reaction state, the idle state has failed. We are actually currently in the flee state, now, which is what we want. So if we hit stop there, we go back and we change this to a monstrous. We're going to compile and save that. And we hit play in editor and go back to our behavior tree. It hasn't seen us yet, so let's, there you go. And it should, we have no behavior to visibly execute. So let's get this fixed so we can actually look at that. So what I'm going to do here is quickly grab you, pull you over. Trying to organize these in a way that we can see which tree. It's all going to do the exact same thing right now, but I just want to like be able to visualize the way these are being executed. So let's clean that up. There, move this over. Bring you back down. We'll hit play. And there you go. So you can see it's a monstrous. It's seen us. It's moving to its pick and idle. All right. And we'll set that back to a small herbivore. Compile. Behavior tree run. Okay. Now we've got it's going into the flee state. And then obviously we've seen, if we stop that, set this back to a human because we know that's our ignore state. Run that again. Make sure it sees us. He's obviously seen us at this point. So, and it's still in the idle state. So that is doing what we wanted it to do in the behavior tree. Now what we need it to do is to actually excuse me here. Sorry, I just had a cough there. Didn't want to deafen everyone. So what we need to do is actually start working on these functions here, because obviously we don't want it to just randomly search. So what we're going to do is we are going to create some new, we're going to create some new tasks here. So over in our content browser, go down to our C++ classes, public. Now, last episode, well, not last episode, the episode where we created the random point task, it, brain's not working. I ended up putting it in the wrong folder. I wanted to put it into like an AI tasks folder. So that is the Blackboard base. So new C++ class, BT task, Blackboard base. I'm going to click next. What I'm going to do here is expand this. You can see we don't have anything in there. It completely didn't create it. So AI tasks is going to be the folder. Find flee point. So we're going to create that task. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create another task, which is going to be the reevaluate. So just while this compiles, I'm going to pause the video and we'll be back as soon as everything's good to go. Oh, I say that and there it is. It's good to go. So go into our AI tasks folder, create new class, BT task, Blackboard base, reevaluate, and yes, reevaluate state. Reevaluate reaction state. Okay, I'm going to create that class. I'm going to wait for all of this to finish, reload in Visual Studio, and we'll get working on some code. But for now, I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be back once this is all done. Alright, so we're back in the editor. I've closed down, back in Visual Studio. I've closed down the editor. I'm just going to clean up some of, no, I didn't want to do that because we're going to need that one. Find flee point, and it's missing a reaction one, but that's fine. Or reevaluate reaction state. Okay, so get rid of TF character, TF NPC, and get rid of that one. All right, so what we're going to want to do here is, to start with, we're just going to copy some of the information we have in our random point and radius, because there's certain things we need to basically duplicate. The execute task, that is straight away one we need to do. Let's get this set up though. Private, protected, public. So we need our execute task, because that is the given. That's what happens when the function is called. And we need our I'm going to recreate this one and use a different naming convention. But actually, I think I said the way around. But either way, so we need our execute task. We need our constructor, which is, you can see that's where we set the node name. So find flee point. And what else do we have in there? Oh, that needs the F object initializer. And then we would want something like this, which is going to be our flee distance. So going to, no, I don't want to move things around. Grab that and set that in a private section. Float flee distance. We're going to set that to 5,000, just as a base value there. So let's create these. What I'm going to do between episodes, just because I realized I butchered my naming conventions here for what I want to do. Between episodes, I'm going to rename these, which is going to involve just recreating what I'll do is I'm going to get everything into the correct folder because my organization, the way I am, I want to have everything in the AI tasks and stuff like that. So it's easy when you're looking through your code, but don't need that open. So you can see here in a constructor, we just use the node name. So add that in quickly. Find flee point. And our actual functionality is going to be pretty similar here. We're going to be copying pretty much everything up to this point here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this entire thing and throw that into our execute task node. We're obviously missing some includes, so grab those and throw those in. That should fix all of those. Yep. So right here, this is where things are going to change, because what we need to do is we need to find, well, where is the actor that we're running away from? So we don't actually have any place where that's stored. So what we're going to want to do here is in our controller base, move you over, try and organize these so they're in a better, yeah. So in our controller base, we have right here, not on possess, sorry, on target detected. So what we're going to want to do is also set a value. So this get Blackboard component set value as vector. Yeah, we still don't have access to that, so we're just going to put it target character, and it's going to be as tf char get actor location. And the reason why we're just doing this as a singular one is we can use the same value for attack. We can use the same value for brain's not working, for the flee. So what we are going to do is in our find flee point, we can't use the get selected Blackboard key because that is going to be our move to location. So what we're going to want to do is copy everything. Get return name of key, get key raw data. Get value as, there we go. Get value as vector. And we want to use that same name that we just set. So target character. So we're going to go f vector flee point equals get that. So what that's going to do is it's going to grab that target character's location, and we're going to store that locally, obviously, because then we're not constantly having to call back to our Blackboard there. And bear with me here. Pull some of this stuff up here because I can't remember if this is a C++ function. C++, look at rotation. Find look at rotation. I can't remember if there's a dedicated function for that or if it's one you have to Kismet Math Library. All right. So there we go. Oh, that's in the wrong class. That's in our random point in radius. So the reason we're wanting to use this is F rotator flee direction equals U Kismet Math Library find look at rotation. So the start is what are we calling this? NPC get actor. Actually, that's current lock. We've got that. Cur lock and flee point. So what this is doing is we are getting the NPC, we're getting the exact angle to look at it, and most fleeing is going to be done, for the purpose of this, 180 degrees in the opposite direction. So what we're going to also do then is flee direction dot pitch or roll. I can never remember which order these go in. Pitch, yaw, plus equals 180. So what that's doing, let me just pull up Paint here quickly. So we'll say we've got your player here, your NPC is here. The find look at rotation is going to find the angle this way. And then what adding 180 degrees to that is going to do is it's going to make it point this way. So, and that's the whole purpose for this, is like, oh, it's here, I want to run away from it. So actually I'm going to leave that, just minimize that for now. So next thing we want to do is sort of rotate the pawn. Now this obviously is not going to be the best way to do this. This is just a very quick setup to define how we want to get things moving there. So it's NPC set rotation, set actor rotation, and we're just going to put in flee direction. And what that's going to do is, again, going back to Paint, so we're going to say they're looking this way when they see the pawn, or see their whatever they're fleeing from. It's going to rotate them to face this direction. Now, the reason being for this is because how we're going to find our navigable point that we're moving to. So what we want here is another F vector target point equals NPC dot get, I'm sorry, it's not a dots pointer, get actor location forward vector times, what did we call that, flee distance. So if my math and my notes are correct, and I'm actually hoping, but what this is going to do is, again, going back to paint, change to green now. No, that's not what I wanted to do. So that will basically, we're going to turn around and then we're going to find a point that is we're going to find a point that is X units forward, and then we're going to look around there. So this is where we're going to now go back to our random point in radius, and we have this. However, we're going to be changing some of these variables. So it is, instead of curlock, we're going to be passing in the target point. We're only going to give it a fixed search radius in this case. We're going to say 500, and we're going to pass that in. Actually, I'm going to move this down here to new lock. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can actually finish off with pretty much the exact same functionality there. We're going to copy that over, throw that in there. And this is where I was saying we can't use the get selected blackboard key because that's where we're going to be storing our move to location. So what we're going to do here, we're going to test this out. I'm personally actually, this right here, target point, I'm not 100% sure if that's actually going to achieve what I want, just because it's been a while since I've worked on this sort of logic. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back once we are back in the editor. Alright, so we're back in the editor here, and you can see I've got the behavior tree opened up. First thing we want to actually do though is in our blackboard we need to create that new key we just started using. So it is a vector value and it's going to have a name of target character. And for things like this where case sensitivity and exact spelling are critical, I hate and personally never try to manually type it out. I'll actually come in here, copy it, and then back in the editor, add in a new key. So now you could potentially store this as, oh no, you can't. You've got it's an object reference. That's what it is. Yeah. Move the location or action value. Okay. So yeah, we've got that set. And then we're going to go back to our behavior tree here, and we're working on our flee case. So let's get rid of this. We're going to find flee point. Now we want to, blackboard key is move to location. Flee distance is 5,000. We're going to save this, and we're going to make sure we actually have our AI set to, what was it, the small animal. So creature type small herbivore, compile and save. Bring this back down here, and we're going to hit play. Now hopefully I've got some breakpoints in Visual Studio set, so it should, there we go. Okay, so get rid of those. So step through that. So current location, we've got that. Flee point is going to be our target character. Yeah, that's what we want. Flee direction, we added 180 degrees to that, to the Z. So it should be running towards the bottom left corner in that general direction. Let's just make sure this executes and passes through. Okay, that does. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to hit continue. It should bring us back to, okay, well, he's moving in a weird way. Oh, yeah, the rotation is screwed up. But yeah, so and we're not reevaluating it. So it's constantly trying to flee from the point we had over there. So a couple of things we can do to fix this, though, and clean this up a little bit. So flee direction pitch equals 0. Flee direction dot roll equals 0. So what we're doing here is we're trying to think, actually, could we do that just NPC rotation yeah, no, we'll just do that. So that should cover what we want there. So obviously we need to do some more for this. What we need to do is then call back and set sprinting. So what we're going to want to do, again, because he just walked off, in here, before we say we're done, we have currently the AI as an NPC and the AI as a the controller. So what we're going to want to do there is we're going to want to add in a callback to the controller that says set to flee. So that'll control our movement speed. And we can work with things from that. So what I'm going to do, though, because we're getting close to the end of this episode, I'm going to close out of the editor, recompile with those changes to the rotation, and we're going to see if that fixed that for us. So, So I'm going to just literally, now that we've made these changes, I'm going to do another build, and I'll be right back in the editor with these changes compiled. All right, so we are back in the editor with those changes made. So let's hit play. See, our rotation is good. So actually, let's drop out because we're not actually seeing the behavior tree there. Okay, so bring that back. I'll hit play. Bring this out just a bit so we can see which path it's going down. Okay, so it saw us and now it's running away. It's finding a point roughly over there. So, all right. So with that, folks, as I mentioned, this is where I'm going to end the episode for now. Next episode, we're actually going to start work on the reevaluate reaction, or reaction reevaluation, whatever you want to call it. But as I mentioned, between episodes, I'm actually going to go through and clean up the naming convention here and get this random point and radius actually in the correct folder because, well, that just annoys me. My organization is off there. So anyways, folks, as always, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks again, and I will see you on the next episode.